So hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us after the film for our Q&A. I'm Leilani Nishime, and I'm here with the Seattle Asian American Film Festival. And I'd like to welcome Ying Wang, who's the director of The World is Bright. And so she'll be joining us today to talk about the film. So thank you for being willing to come and speak to me about the movie. And it was really, it was such a moving movie. And I really thought it was amazing how many different elements you were able to bring together, you know, kind of the personal story and the mental health and immigration. And there was just so much going on. And I was wondering how it is that you found this story, how it is you got interested in it and decided to make the movie.
First, I want to thank you for having us at the festival because my sister is living in Seattle. Before the pandemic, I often went down to visit her. So Seattle, for me, is almost like a second home. So it feels particularly special, to show the film in Seattle again.
Yeah, and hopefully next festival you'll be able to be with us in person.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
How to start it? I think it was in 2007. So I got to know Deng's lawsuit from the local Chinese media. I'm living in Vancouver, so from the local Chinese media, what intrigued me at that moment was the mystery around the case, because at that time they just started to get contact with the RCMP. The main focus was really why they buried the son first, and whether that was a suicide or maybe something else. And I was also intrigued by Shimin's mental problem, because the parents started to mention that at the press conference. At that time, I just finished my first film, Sisters. That was based on my sister's mental illness, because my family immigrated actually to the United States in the early 1990s. After the immigration, my sister developed an eating disorder. So I made a film with her and about her struggle with the eating disorder. So by the time I got to know Deng's story, the mental health problem had already become a subject very close to my heart. So because of all this, I got in contact with a lawyer, and then the lawyer connected me with the parents. So I met them, and in our first meeting, the parents agreed that I could follow their lawsuit. So that's how I started.
Yeah, and I was actually really interested by that, because it seems like you were able to be with the parents in some really sort of pivotal moments for them. You seem to be able, I mean, you were in with the lawyer's office with them as well, and they were telling you, I think, really personal stories. So I was wondering about that, like, how were you able to get so much access to the parents? And I was wondering if they've seen this film and what they think about it.
I think there was a trust at the beginning, because we all came from Beijing. Beijing was also my hometown, and also their home was very close to the place I grew up. So there was a connection at the beginning, and also along the process. I think even from the beginning, I started to follow them. I didn't really consider myself just a filmmaker, because at that time, even the whole process, although they had the support from the lawyer, but other than that, most of the time, they were by themselves. And especially the father who really took on the test to really try to understand the case and to really try to find the answer. But also at the same time, he had a very limited capability with English. So there was a lot of times I would help him with some English translation, help give him basically listening first, listening his frustration, his questions, and then try to help him to find some answers. And also I was an immigrant, so I don't have other family, and they were alone. So eventually, during the Chinese New Year or whatever, I would invite them come to my home and we both have some, feeling of a family. I think, and I think that's how they, how the trust built and how the trust developed. And also most of the time I was there just by myself with a camera. Yeah, with a camera. And they were used to be with me and also with my camera. So it's I was there with my camera, just listening, and they needed people to talk. So so that's how the relation is continued. But at the beginning, I also taught the father very straightforward about how making documentary works here, and the boundary of a filmmaker as well, with the subject. And also as a filmmaker, I have the right to make a film that I want to make. And the father totally understand that. Like in China, it's always him to connect me to the family members to have interview. But whenever the interview start, he would leave the room, close the door, and he never ask, what did they say about me? Yeah. So his father is, Mr. Deng is very, I respect him with my whole heart. Yeah, he's really a sensible person. Yeah. So we finished the film in 2019, and at that time, in the film, the father already got a stroke back in 2014 or 15. So in 2019, his health was very has been deteriorating. So in 2019, he was on wheelchair, and he couldn't walk. So after the finished the film, I went back to China. I tried to show it to them, and they agreed to watch. But right before the screening, the father became emotional, and that triggered some high blood pressure symptom. So then other family members decided that the parents, they shouldn't watch the film anymore, worry about the emotional trigger. So the cousins came to watch it, and they told me they feel it's a good film. But they also taught me that actually a lot of details in the film they didn't know until they watch it. Yeah, so for them it was also kind of eye-opening of a lot of real reasons behind all this tragedy. Yeah. Although the family accepted the film, but they hope when the parents still alive, they hope that we don't show the film in China, because they don't know how the public response to that. They worry about, all this negative feedback, especially from social media. Nowadays, it's so easy to get out of control. So I totally respect that decision. So we decided that, so only show the film outside of China. We'll never show it inside China before the family agree.
Wow. I guess it's so emotional and they're so vulnerable in it.
Yeah.
See why they would hesitate to go public with it in China.
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting, the structure of the film too. The first half of it seemed much more kind of narrowly focused on, the mystery of their son's death. And, about midway through, it seemed to really open up and talk about a lot of other issues. We find out about Mr. Deng's family and more about sort of immigration system more generally, and mental health issues. And so I was wondering, why you did that, like what sort of your idea was for that, and why you wanted to make it a sort of a broader story at that point.
I think that the structure of the film reflects our process of understanding the story, because and also the process of parents understanding their son as well as themselves. Because at the beginning, both parents and me as a filmmaker, we were hooked, or we were intrigued by the mystery around his death. And then we got into his life in Canada. But I think for me, the change of the shift began when the earthquake happened. And then I went to then I witnessed the father, how he tried to get hold of his mother, who actually lived in Sichuan, in a village that is not too far from the earthquake center. And then we decided to went back China with the father to visit the Sichuan village. And in Sichuan, we witnessed how he dealt with all these inquiries from the family and the dynamic, and how in front of his mother, how he became the son, and how actually how he was repeating what Shiming did to them. Everything is good, right? Like, and this whole family, and also the root of this whole story, completely open up another dimension that we go beyond this this legal case. And then after Sichuan, we went back to Beijing, and the father dig out all Shiming's diaries, his childhood diary, and the book, the textbook, the diary, the word written in the diary, that was actually, it's just I was reading the diary as if I was reading myself, because me and Shiming, we were only 4 years apart. So we grew up in China, that during the big transformation from poverty to Western, to open up to the Western world, to all this economic development. And then we came to the Western world with a dream, right, to have a better life. So all this, so at that moment, and I think I touched the soul of this tragedy, and ever since then, and I think that's to tell a real family story became the focus instead of just a legal case. And then along the process, as I said, I was already really interested in the topic about mental illness, but this story also revealed the special connection of migration, culture dislocation with mental illness. So in 2010, I read a book called the globalization of addiction. So the book really talk about how economy, how culture, and how dislocation, this construction of culture, the role it played in mental illness. And also, actually, we during the process, we interviewed many experts working in mental illness and working in the legal process. Although all these interviews, we couldn't include them in the final film, but from all these interviews, it really brought, really like brought a deeper understanding of mental illness itself. And what we learned from all these interviews is the complexity of mental illness itself. So basically, I believe all these factors, all these perspectives, they all contribute to this tragedy, to this young man's tragedy, to this family's tragedy. Yeah, and also because my personal experience from China and then to the North America is what I have experienced in life is all this complexity, it's an ambiguity, it's a irony in life. So it's never black and white. So when we started editing the film, we were very sure that we don't want to make a message-driven, one-dimensional documentary, because I think that's propaganda. So good film is to reveal the ambiguity in life, to reveal the complexity, to reveal the multi-perspective, dimensional of the issue, and then to bring us deeper understanding. And only through deeper understanding, then we would have a real compassion or empathy.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, I feel like the even though the story is what drew me in, I think that the way that you were bringing in so many other elements in the second half really made me feel much more emotionally attached, I think, to what's going on there.
Yeah. And also make the story more universal.
Oh.
Yeah, like all this perspective actually make this this story about one Chinese family, make that actually become a universal story.
Yeah, because you put it in the context of, these bigger kind of social changes and these bigger economic changes. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the family relationship, right? Like the dynamics. Yeah, the parents' love, the complexity of the love. Yeah.
I'm a parent myself, and some of those later scenes were, I felt very much like I could empathize a lot, right, with what they were feeling. And I wonder if you could talk a little bit too about the song at the end of the film. I was talking about sort of emotional. I really did feel very emotional with the song, the cover of "Creep" that you had at the end. So could you talk a little bit about the version that you have in the movie?
Oh, thank you for asking the question. Yeah, because this is something we're really proud of. This is almost the first ever bilingual cover of "Creep." We created particularly for the song. So the idea came when we were shooting in China. We tried to shoot a scene that can reenact Shimin's useful life, because I also feel the time he wanted to become a rock and roll, that was the most liberating time in his life, and actually also in the contemporary history in China, because that's a time we young people, we open up to the Western, the Western culture, Western music, the Western idea, is that was time is full of hope and optimism, optimism. Anyway, yeah, you know what I want to say. So we had a band and play, and then the band played Creep, and it touched everyone on the side right away, because the music and especially the lyrics so perfectly reflect the a lot of our immigrants, our feeling to be, we are weird, and our cry to be able to belong, but not belong, and so ever since then, I have been trying to find a way to include the music in the film, and then I think it's later on is I heard a completely like a Chinese cover of the song, and then I thought, oh, maybe we could find a bilingual cover, and so that people can understand the music as well as the spirit of the music of the film without the boundary of the language. Yeah, because we test that, like if with only the English version, and for people who don't really understand English, that touch them but not touch them so deeply emotionally. So that's why we decided to create a bilingual song and put it at the end, and it took us quite a long while to find the right translation, and then to find the right tone, and also the right instrumental for that song. Yeah. So yeah, that's something. Yeah, we're really proud.
Yeah, it came together so well, and I think it really does fit so many of the themes of the movie.
Yeah.
So could you talk a little bit about any advice that you might give to young filmmakers? We at our film festival, we have many filmmakers who are just starting out, who are pretty new to the field, and they're trying to figure out how to get started. And I'm wondering if you have any advice you might be able to give people.
Oh, actually, I also consider myself a new filmmaker because this is only my second film. Yeah, I'm still learning, still at the beginning, of my craft. And myself, actually, I've never been to any film school, so I'm just by doing and learning. But if there's any advice, I think is especially for your first or second work, is to be persistent as well as resilient. I think it's very important because it's so natural. At the beginning, no one would really support you, right? Like no one would give you money. So it happens to everyone. But you just got to make it, and you just got to have the belief that regardless, no one would have right to say you cannot make this film. It's only you. If you say that to yourself, you never make it. But no other person have the right. Yeah, if they don't give you money, that's fine. you learn how to shoot. Yeah, if you don't have money to hire editor, you just learn how to edit. And then you also need to be a good producer yourself, try to write grant to apply money or to meet people to pitch. Yeah. But just to be resilient. Okay, if you close the door, I will find a way to open another door for myself. I think that is very important. And secondly is since you at the beginning is you raise the money for your project, and you just I think just you got to be very have a faith in yourself with your art vision, with your vision, because this is your film. There's no other's film. Just stick to your vision, and to go as far as possible if you believe in your vision, and make that happen, and make that happen in a great way. Yeah. So I think that's that I would say. That's yeah.
Yeah, good. That's, I think, very inspiring advice. Could you talk a little bit? Do you have a new project going on, or what can we expect from you next? Do you have maybe a third film that you're thinking of?
Yes, yeah, but we still have some works left to finish this project. As I mentioned, we actually had over 20 interviews with many experts. We couldn't include them not in the final film, but we want to edit them and put them on the internet online to share with the public, because there are a great amount of knowledge and wisdom in understanding the issues the film revealed. Yeah. And also, since the beginning of this year, we launched our impact campaign. So we are going to have a national and hopefully international impact campaign with the film to try to raise the awareness of mental illness, particularly in the immigration population. Yeah, and also the legal injustice in the immigration system, because of this, the problem revealed in the film, although that happened in China, but it's not only in China. It's many countries deal with a mentally ill immigrant in this way. Yeah, so that's another big project we just kickstarted. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a big project, but I think really important, a really important one.
Yeah. And yes, and I'm writing a script for my third feature. Yeah, but this time will be a fiction film.
Oh.
So yeah, so I'm writing a script right now.
Yeah, something new then.
Actually, not really. My first film was a fiction, although that was based in my sister's story, but I approached it in a fiction way. So actually, I would say for The World is Bright, you can see there are many like reenactment elements, and also the way the structure. I think in a way I also try to approach it as a film, just to try to ignore the boundary of fiction or nonfiction. Just to try to approach as a film, cinema itself, to try to tell a good story, human story that emotionally engaging, and also has a certain cinematic merit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my third the film I'm working on is also based on true life experience, but yeah, this time I also want to approach it in this way, like kind of hybrid of a fiction non-fiction. Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. So yeah, I'm glad to hear.
Thank you.
In the offing. All right, so I think that's it for us. Thank you so much for taking the time and speaking with me and talking to our Seattle Asian American Film Festival audience. And thank you all out there for joining us for the 9th Seattle Asian American Film Festival. We greatly appreciate your support and your support of our festival and the community. If you haven't done so already, please fill out the survey. The festival participant survey is in the link in your confirmation email when you got your ticket. Those surveys help us get grants and sponsorships that make this festival possible. And it's another way you can help support SAAFF. You can also check out the other programs on seattleaaff.org, and there's plenty of tickets still available. And on behalf of the Seattle Asian American Film Festival, thank you, stay safe and stay healthy.